everyone, welcome to this week's Mondays with Madison. I am so excited for the first Texas Legends video to have Michael Griffin here with us, and we're just gonna get to know him with football and his outside of football with entrepreneurship and being a father and just everything wrapped up in one. So can't wait for y'all to watch. Let's get right into it. So, you grew up in Austin. You're an Austin kid.
Correct. Came
to UT, like right in your backyard. So, what was that experience like starting your career being from Austin and playing at UT, a school that typically does really well with Austin recruits?
Well, you know, it's funny though. People may not know this. I was initially committed to Texas A&M.
Really?
I was. I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and they had a good veterinarian program.
Oh my goodness.
And I became very close with R.C. Slocum. And at the time I was kind of caught. I was playing running back in high school, but UT was recruiting me as another position. So everything was kind of, you know, up in the air here and there. So
toss up.
They fired R.C. Slocum, and it kind of made my decision very, very
much easier
to stay in Texas. So it was between A&M and Texas, and again they fired R.C. Slocum, and then me and my twin, I have a twin brother. We both came here, and we got to play alongside each other. Started for 2 years alongside each other.
That's
so
awesome.
It worked out great for us.
For sure, especially both of you being so close. Your family was probably at every game.
Oh man, it's me and my brother, and you know, 2 kids going to University of Texas. It was a dream come true.
Seriously, for sure. So you had an incredible college career. It started as a freshman, jumping right in, right?
It was okay.
And played in probably the most legendary game in Texas football history, the 2005 Rose Bowl.
I really hope that's not the last legendary game, but yes.
Yes, one of the most, for sure. And you had probably one of the most 2 memorable plays in that game, the goal line interception earlier in the game, and then obviously Vince Young's touchdown to run it in and secure the win with that 4th down stop before that, the series before. So everyone knows about those 2 plays typically, but are there any that you and your teammates talk about that may not get the recognition or the hype that the media sees all the time? Or anything that you remember most about it?
I mean, the most thing I remember about it was my 21st birthday.
No way!
So that day was
what a celebration!
So that was my 21st birthday, and you know, I think there's a lot of the different plays that happened along that game. I mean, all the way from the fumble recovery from Michael Huff, even just when Cedric Griffin, the hit on the sideline that started the physical toughness of the game,
the battle. Yes,
the play, the questionable when Vince Young pitched it to Selma Young for the touchdown. There was a lot of key plays. David Thomas, his role in that game that, you know, a lot of people don't realize that
was crucial.
He's probably one of the, you know, between him and Jermichael Finley, and both gave 3 recognizable names. You know, them 3 there, probably one of the most talented tight ends that played here at the University of Texas. But just so many people who just played a big part in that game that they don't get the recognition that they deserve. Yes, Vince Young had a phenomenal game. It was my first time I actually watched the game about it during COVID. I watched the game for the first time.
No way.
And I actually was able, and I played with Vince with the Tennessee Titans, but it was the first time, because normally when the offense is on the field, the defense is going through plays and things.
Right,
so you're
not
really
necessarily watching.
You're not paying what's going on. But that was the first time that I actually sat down and I watched, and I was like, sheesh. I'm really, really glad that I never had to go
against him, honestly.
I'm glad he was on my team and I never had to go against him. But it was so many great plays in that game that, you know, you owe it all to the entire team. I mean, without the team, none of us would be anything. None of us would hold a ring. None of us would be where we are today in life today if it wasn't just totally with that team. And shout out to Mac Brown also. Yeah,
he had some part of it.
Yeah, oh, no question.
What a 21st birthday! That's incredible.
Yes, it was great. It's my first time I tried alcohol too. And at that time I didn't like it. So, but now it's a little different.
Now it's a little different.
A little different now. 37 years old.
Leaving Texas, you were leaving with all Big 12 accolades, going into the draft, feeling pretty good, and got drafted in the 1st round to the Tennessee Titans. So you spent a majority of your career with the Tennessee Titans.
Correct.
10-year career. Great career.
Yeah.
So what is the Longhorn brotherhood like in the NFL? Like, whether that's years down the line, generationally, you're playing against Longhorns that you may not have been teammates with, but what is that bond like when you get to the NFL?
And, it's great because, you always have somebody you can count on, lean on, ask questions and things in that nature. I remember, like, playing against Ricky Williams for the first time and having that conversation. Somebody that, being from Austin, I got to watch him play.
Right.
And then I was playing running back also at the time. So I got to watch him play. Then you look at guys like Quentin Jammer, who was one of the all-time greats when it comes to playing a defensive back position. Playing against him when he was with the San Diego Chargers at the time, now the LA Chargers. But being able to speak to him and talk to him and just so forth, just going on with just a lot of guys that, either you, Phil Dawson, these guys that I watched playing growing up, but then also playing at the same time they're playing. And then you have younger guys that Quandre Diggs,
right.
Kenny Vaccaro, these guys that came in later that you're able to talk to them and, rejoice with them and tell them congratulations.
The favor,
so it's just like a brotherhood that continues to just pass down the torch from years to come. And so it was just a great opportunity just to see other players that we all came from the same alma mater and been able to enjoy our time here on the 40 acres and then going on to the next level and still representing our school.
Yeah, Texas Longhorn bond seems very strong, I'll tell you.
No question.
Now for some analytic work.
Okay.
Well, I want to get your opinion on the current climate of college football and just kind of, I feel like it's rapidly changing recently, specifically with NIL and super conferences and all of that. So first we'll talk NIL, something that I bet you wish you had when you were playing.
Man, I probably never even went to NFL.
Seriously, changed the game.
True.
So how do you think that affects recruiting in a sense, or say the super class that's coming to Texas now with Arch Manning? Like, how would you think NIL is kind of affecting the climate of college football?
The question is, the best team is always going to win. You could bring all the best players on one team, but if you can't manage to piece them all together, they all can't play cohesively as a team. It doesn't matter. On paper, you look great, but when you show up on the field and you have a bunch of individual players, then it won't work. So at the end of the day, it's going to take, Coach Sarkisian and the coaching staff to be able to, make this group of young men work very well together.
Right.
They're going to have to separate their independently selfish attitudes and realize you're playing a team sport. The money, and NIL, and everything else that comes along with it, that's great.
It's a bonus.
But that's a bonus. But at the same time, you got to be able to perform. And if you're not able to perform, you're not going to do nothing but make it worse for people for years to come. To say that, okay, this doesn't work. But at the end of the day, and I tell people this all the time, when you're winning games, listen, they're going to look at that entire team and say, why are they winning games? Because apparently there's more pieces to the puzzle than just that one person that's getting all recognition. So the main objective is win games. You win games, everything else comes. I mean, Vince Young, he get all the glory. He had a phenomenal game, MVP, probably hands down the best college football player to ever play the game. Michael Huff, who won the Thorpe Award, and Aaron Ross won it the next year. But at the end of the day, you had guys like myself, Terrell Brown, Cedric Griffin, Brian Robinson, Tim Crowder. The list continues to goes on that had an opportunity to go to the next level and make money and be able to take care of our family. So they looked at that team as a whole and said, hey, listen, they have a lot of great players.
Right.
So, yes, individually, people are going to get this, that, and even at the next level. Quarterbacks are going to get this. You may be the kicker and you get this. But at the end of the day, in order to win a championship, everything has to work together. Every piece has to work together. So, I think it's going to play a big part, but at the same time, you got to find ways to make it work. And if it doesn't work, then you got to go right back to the drawing board.
True. Definitely more on the field production when it comes to outside of NIL.
And the question is, if you do it on the field, it's going to be more money coming in.
Exactly.
So that's the objective. When you win ball games, it's going to be more money coming in.
Exactly. And then Texas is now moving to the SEC along with Oklahoma, and ton of other conference alignment is now happening and shifting and all of that. So are you excited for Texas to move to the SEC, or what are your thoughts?
I'm really excited to see the Texas A&M and Texas rivalry again.
Finally, back again.
I think it's finally able to see that game, especially whether we used to play on Thanksgiving Day. Now they play the day after Thanksgiving. Texas plays the day after Thanksgiving. But if they could get that back going, that'd be great.
Seriously.
I think you just talk about generating revenue, the fact that we're probably less than 100 miles apart. When it comes to back in the day when there was the top players choosing which school to go to, they weren't leaving the state of Texas. They were staying in Texas, and they were either playing for A&M or playing for Texas.
Right.
And it was always a great game. Even Oklahoma was always a great game because you always had those kids, the Dallas, those kids that chose Oklahoma over Texas, but you were playing against the top players that were from your area, whether it was Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, wherever it was. You was always continuously playing against those top players, and it was just the bragging rights. So to get that back into college football, I think would be great. The Big 12 as it stands, I'm curious to see how that will go with Cincinnati and those other teams joining. But at the same time, I think it's just good for college football just to make it more exciting.
For sure.
But it's going to be definitely a tough road, a tough task. You know, Texas has to start putting those pieces together now in order to go there and compete, because each and every week is going to be a dogfight, and that's just how the SEC works. It's a dogfight each and every week.
It'll be interesting to see. And then speaking of Texas football, of course. How do you see this season going? What are your thoughts and just kind of projections for this season?
You know, the question is this, again, it goes back to the team first attitude. And the question is the team prepared to be team first? You know, you lose Casey Thompson, who pretty much had a great year last year. You have Hudson Card, and then you have Quentin Ewers. So, of course, you have that quarterback battle that's going to go. And then the question is, again, from Sark's point of view, how do you handle that? Because they're both young players. Ewers pretty much should be a senior coming in as a true freshman right now, even though he missed his senior year to go to play at Ohio State. But he's still a young kid. He's 18, 19 years old. The question is, the stage is a lot bigger than when he was at South Lake, Carolina. But again, he was at
just a little bit.
So again, he was at Ohio State, but you know, again, the pressure's on. You was a #1 recruit when it came to the quarterback position. And now you have Hudson Card to say, that second year, are you ready to take that next step? And you can go back to a lot of quarterbacks that I played with. You know, that first year, you know, if you go back, people don't really talk about Vince Young's redshirt freshman year. You talk about his redshirt sophomore and his redshirt junior year when he won the two bowl games, but versus Michigan and national championship. But people don't really go back and say we lost to Washington State.
Right, exactly.
No one talks about the Holiday Bowl. They don't talk about the Rose Bowl. Even if you go back to Colt McCoy, his redshirt freshman year, he got banged up, and we lost against Texas A&M. We lost against Kansas State, which was my senior year. But you still remember him getting to the national championship. You still remember him, you know, going down there.
Steps.
Yeah, you remember all the great steps, but you don't remember those baby steps, the bumps and the bruises. Sam Ellinger the same way. People forget about his first year. You remember all the good things that happened. So again, with Hudson Card, I think, again, he just go out there and play with the confidence. But again, the more weapons that you have in the stable, the more players that's willing to take the next step and step it up, the better this team will be. So the sky's the limit, and it's all up to them. I mean, you can go back to the team that almost beat the LSU team that won a national championship. Was a team that the next week and the week after fell short time in and time out. But you seen them play like this, but then you seen them play like this. So again, it's all about each and every Saturday or Friday, whatever day that they play on. Are they willing to go out there and put it all out on the line? And that means each and every person that suits up needs to be ready to play. So the sky's the limit. It can go from last year, where projected to win the Big 12, to, you know,
ranked fifth,
whatever it is, and don't even make a bowl game. So it's all on this team. My opinion, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's on the team. It's the guys that's going to step foot on this field. Yeah,
getting that up here consistency, not the down here.
You got to be consistent.
We don't want the roller coaster.
No, you don't want the roller coaster. You got to be consistent each and every week. You got to be able to put it out there each and every week.
We got that analyst practice for LHN. You got to warm up.
No question.
So now we will go into our person behind the athlete and get to know more about him besides football.
Okay.
So first of all, your family.
Gotcha.
You're raising some stud athletes yourself.
Trying to.
So tell us about your family and brag on them a little bit.
So I got Michael Braylon Griffin, who goes by Braylon. He's not a junior. Wanted to try to have his own identity with his middle name, and so he goes by his middle name.
Perfect.
He is going to start at Bowie High School, my alma mater. He's going to start his freshman year, August 1st.
That's great.
So now I have a high schooler.
What is that like for you, playing at your alma mater? That's gotta be cool.
You know what? I just want him to do his thing. You know, it's one of those things that I continuously tell him, like, you know, whatever you want in life, I'm here behind you to support you and help guide you. I can't do it for you.
Right.
There's only so much I can push, because I don't want you, because naturally everybody else is going to compare him to me.
Totally.
And because of that, I don't want him to feel like me pushing him. He now feels like he has to compare and compete and prove me, you know, prove himself to me.
Right.
And so that's something that I'm constantly trying to battle.
Totally.
And so that's like
understandable.
That's an everyday battle right there. It's like, how do I work the words that I use, the message that I'm trying to get across? How do I
make it for him?
Make it for him. How do I, you know, just trying to choose the right words, so we're not doing this,
totally,
but we're kind of like doing this.
Totally.
And so that's what we've been dealing with as of lately in this whole summer and stuff. So he's been, you know, he's making me very proud in this aspect of he's taking initiative on himself, like telling me, Dad, we going to the gym. Like, so, you know,
like, okay.
he works out with his team in the morning, but then at night, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, he wants me to take him to the gym, and he wants me to push him and make him work out. And so
love that mindset.
He's taking that initiative, and I'm just helping him. My daughter, Maya Devin Griffin. So my name is Michael Devin Griffin. So Michael, and then I have Maya Devin. So,
love that.
So yeah, Maya, she's of course she plays soccer like yourself. You
the best.
I appreciate you at the spring game. You met her and stuff. And
yeah.
She was very, very excited. But of course she plays soccer with Lone Star. She made the top team again. She's in the GA program, and
yes.
So she's doing a good, phenomenal job. And then this is a kicker. She's trying out for football, but not for a kicker. She wants to play quarterback. So
that is amazing.
So she's been all the kids are telling her that she can't do it, and so that's driving.
So she's
her
like, watch me.
Before I left the house right now, she's at the park right now. You know, takes the golf cart, runs 2 miles, and then works on her soccer drills, and then she takes the football to work on her throwing. So
I love that.
So she's 12, about to be in the 7th grade. She did the off-season program, so it was kind of cool because she was the only girl. And
good for her. That's amazing.
You know, soccer players can run all day. So the coach is making them do conditioning tests, and she's like,
I'm fine.
She's laughing at all the boys because they can't do it, and they're like, I don't understand. So she's Sean Rutherford. Shout out to him. He's been helping her. He was a quarterback in college, and he's been helping her out a lot. So she's been training with him twice a week, and
that's amazing.
Getting the confidence and everything up. So
good for her.
She's doing that, and so yeah, that's what she's doing. And then I have Mackenzie. Unfortunately, she got stuck because she was the oops baby with me and my wife. But she's 5. So yeah, she's older too, 14, 12, and the 5-year-old. But she's my that's my little road dog. She's I spelled her name Mikenzie. So she at least got Mike.
Love that.
So
got a piece of you in there.
She played back. So Mackenzie Ann, my wife, was raised by a grandmother. So her grandmother was Ann. So she got her middle name. Rest in peace. But yeah, she's my little handful. She's the one that each and every day you go to pick her up from daycare, whatever it is. You know, you got to fill out a little report that she's beating up boys.
Little firecracker.
She's playing soccer. She does a phenomenal. She watched her sister play, so she picked that up very quickly.
Oh yeah, I got a great role model.
Yeah, now I kind of like hold her back and let the kids go score, and then you let her go. And then she wants to play football too, and then she played basketball recently. Every time she gets the ball, she just throws it. But she's fun to watch. She might be my little motocross because she's always watching me ride bikes and stuff.
Love that.
She wants me to, Dad, take me on the bike, take me on the bike. So I take her around the block and stuff.
That's perfect.
And her little tricycle is like a dirt bike looking thing, so that's her thing.
Taking after her dad.
So that's what she does. So that's the 3 kiddos that are a handful. That's my life right now. Is just pretty much
guiding them along the way.
I'm an Uber, Lyft, taxi service right now. So that's my life right now.
That's perfect. Then speaking of motocross, you've gotten into that recently. So what sparked that passion, and how did you get into that?
So motorcycles, I always wanted to. I've ridden them before when I was younger, and I always wanted to ride. And I've always been like a daredevil.
Adrenaline junkie.
Adrenaline junkie. So I bought my, I remember 2000. I'm going on 3 years right now. So I was done playing, finished school, came back, graduated in 2017, and one
college
day,
of education, me too.
One day, I was kind of bored, but not bored, and so went right here. It's called Ride. It's called Ride Now. I was in there, and I was looking at all these motorcycles. I was like, I like this bike. I like this bike. But I don't know how to ride a bike, and so. I was like, I'm just gonna take a motorcycle class just to do it. So I remember I couldn't even get out of first gear or anything. And so met a guy and he kind of like helped me through it. So I passed him class, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you a motorcycle. But I was thought maybe I'd be able to get the bike home. Like I could take all the little back roads. Then finally I realized it's a little real than being in the parking lot.
Little different.
Cars just doing this, and so from there. Got better. I used to take it around the block. Then I started going to parking lots, practicing. So I just kept practicing. It was just something to occupy my time.
Yeah.
And then I started like getting jackets and helmets, try to look cool.
All the gear.
Try to look cool as possible. You know, see something look cool as possible. And then
of course.
I remember I met a guy named Danny at Moto Mummy, and he was like, "Why are you on the street? You should try the track." And I was like, "The track?" He's like, "Yeah, it'd make you so much better of a rider." And I was like, "Okay." So I remember the first time I went out here to Coda Formula One track. You know, I went out,
turns, the road course.
So they had instructors and everything. It's called Ride Smart. It's a class that you kind of take, and they kind of teach you how to ride the turns and everything. So I had my whole suit. I was nervous. I was going slow. He got this fast bike that goes like 200 miles per hour, but I'm probably going like 45 all the way around the track.
Just getting your way,
I'm trying to figure it out. And then it just slowly but surely, I was like, I got just addicted. And it was just like, slowly but surely, how fast can I push it? How fast can I push it? And then now, it's, I left the street, rest in peace to Cedric Benson. I left the streets alone. I do not ride on the street because I know what I'm capable of on the track.
Right.
And so it's just riding.
Can't go that fast on the street.
Can't go that fast. And I know what I can do. Like, you know, whether you putting your knee on the ground and going around a turn, going 100 and something plus miles per hour, all that stuff. I know how to do all that stuff. So
that's thrilling for sure.
It is. The first time you hit your knee on the ground, it scares you. But then you just get so comfortable with it, and
keep doing it. And
now it's just. Every opportunity I get, it's kind of like my therapy. That emotional therapy that I used to get when I used to play football, whatever. You know, you push to the limit, and then you get so tired, you're fatigued, and I don't even want to touch a bike. So
that's perfect.
That's pretty much. I go out to the track, which August 12th and 13th, I'll be back at the track, ride it.
Love that.
Push it to the limit, and then after that, I'll be done till probably like November or so. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, so that's my new little hobby.
Yeah, a great one at that.
Yeah.
Now touching on your entrepreneurship journey, you co-founded Cupcake Guys.
Yes.
With Brian Rockpo and
Brian Henson.
Brian Henson.
Yes.
So what sparked that, and cupcakes? How'd you get into opening a Gigi's Cupcakes and all that?
So everybody here in Austin knows Tip Treats.
Right.
And we grew up with it, being there in Jester East. You want a sweet, you order some Tip Treats. And so
close.
In Nashville, it was Gigi's Cupcakes. That was like their traditional, you know,
their
welcome,
tips.
Thank you, whatever it is. So that was the sweets there. And so from there, as I got later on in my career, and we was one time in the Domain. People don't know that. I'm sure you know where Domain is. Hanging out, Sunday fun day. We were eating, and then we were like, hey, you know, normally we used to go to this place called Sprinkles to grab cupcakes.
Yes.
The little kiosk thing. And so we were like, man, how about Gigi's? And so some of our friends, we all went out to Cedar Park. There was one location in Cedar Park that's now closed, and had all our friends try some, and they were like, man, these are good. he's like, "What do you think about opening one out in Bee Cave area?" Well, that area is definitely growing. I grew up here in Austin.
Yeah.
You know, Lake Travis.
Totally.
Bee Cave. It was nothing out there when I was growing up, but now it's just
booming.
And so we put one out there, and literally it was just land, and it was brush and everything else.
Land and a Gigi's Cupcake.
Now all of a sudden they got a strip mall. We got one of the stores in there, and then from there, people thought it was funny. Cause we being ourselves. We just being ourselves, posting videos for advertisement and stuff, and then from there we ended up with a Microsoft commercial that aired before the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then from there we shot a one-off TV show, baking competition show with Food Network, and then after that we became known as, well, the Cupcake Guys came up because every time we get on the plane, we was going to New York to do the Good Morning America show with Michael Strahan, and I remember somebody like pointed at us like, "Hey, those are Cupcake Guys," and I was like, "Man,
that's what you're known for."
We were like, "We're football." You know, you call somebody a cupcake like being soft or something. And so it was like, all right, you know what? The name kind of...
It works.
It works. And so we came up with the little cartoon configuration with a good friend of Brian Rackpost, Obi, one of his good childhood friends. He's a great artist, cartoon artist. He drew the whole cartoon.
Yeah, the logo's great.
And kind of just ran with it. And we made some shirts just to be funny. And it just
blew up.
Took off. And then we just shot a single season 6-episode show for Roku, so a streaming service. So we just shot that for 6 weeks. Was it May through June? No, it was all of May and a little bit of June. We shot that. We went 6 weeks strong, 5 days a week, and we were like working from like 9:30.
That's awesome.
So we just shot that, which should air in the first quarter of 2023, and so
I can't wait for that. So
it's funny because something that we was like just trying to learn.
Just a love of yours.
You know, you go to school, you try to learn business,
right?
And we played football, and for me, the NFL always had classes where there was commentating classes, which LHN, which is what I do.
Right.
You offered it, but it's like naturally as athletes, you
know how to talk about your sport, right?
Yes. And then you have business. Well, you're trying to teach us business because you got the financials,
right?
So you can run a business and stuff, or coaching. So because you should be able to coach the sport that you play.
You should.
So you kind of limited us as athletes.
The 3 avenues.
And I remember the last paper that I wrote when I came back to school for the semester was Life After Football. And I interviewed Coach McDermott, who's now the head coach for the Buffalo Bills. I interviewed some of my other positions, Coach Gray, who was a Texas legend, defensive back, who was my DB coach and my D coordinator. I interviewed some of the current players at the time. I interviewed some players that were done playing but on in the next, and some people trying to, and it was just a 10-page paper that I probably could have wrote an entire book. Literally. And it was just trying to figure out what everybody was doing in life after football. And I just remember when I was, 18, 19, 20, I put all my eggs in one basket. It was just play football. You're here at school, and nothing against the school, but you don't really think about anything outside of sport. Like, I want to make it to the next level. Exactly. And you kind of got to do that, especially play at a high level. You have to be all in. But the biggest thing that I took away from writing that paper was we all became very limited on, we didn't understand what was outside that bubble. Like what we're doing right now, what you want to do with your life. You play soccer, but you're looking outside the bubble. But me as a football player, I fell into that realm of, I just was football. And so the business part of it was just like, hey, listen, you retired at 33, 34 years old. What's next? And you're still young, and you got a whole lot. And then you look at it, a lot of people are 21, 22 years old. I was that age. I was a father at 23, a father of another one at 25, and then I was a professional athlete that had a job that I moved to Nashville, and I was up every day working. Right. I didn't have the luxury of being 22 years old, just graduated college, and I'm just having
the world is your oyster.
And so I get to 33, and now I feel like I'm a 21, like everybody that I knew
just
at that
delayed
age,
21-year-old.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my life. And so it was like, okay, what is something that can occupy my time? Let me open this business up. Sounds kind of fun. What is something that no matter what's going on in the world, people will still gravitate to?
Totally.
And you know how it is. Get your hair done, get your nails done, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what's going on. I got to get my hair and nails, and then we're going to always celebrate something. So cake, you know, food, things of those natures. It's not a necessity, but
people love it.
It's something that people want.
Yeah.
And so even during the whole COVID thing or whatnot, people were still coming in, grabbing cupcakes. We're going to celebrate birthdays. We're going to celebrate Christmas. We're going to celebrate Easter.
Doesn't stop that.
It does not stop that.
Right.
And it was just literally just learning business. And it was a small risk, high reward type of thing that, again, ended up in the green with the Microsoft commercial and everything within the first 6-7 months, just because us being ourselves and just being there day to day, trying to make sure this, because the competitive nature was we weren't gonna let this thing fail. And
yeah, of course.
It's just by the grace of God, things are just still just falling upon our laps each and every day and each and every week. So we got a lot of things going on just with the business, but it's just branching off of just having other things going on. So I'm excited.
Probably not what you expected it to take off like that,
it's not. But again, like I said, by the grace of God,
truly,
it's like something that just happened without even, you know, pursuing it. But it was just a window of opportunity presented itself and take it.
Gonna take it.
Yes.
100%. And then, like you said, working for LHN, getting to commentate and talk about your alma mater and the football team, just be involved in that aspect. So what is it like to be involved with Texas football, but just from a different lens?
You know what's crazy? I never watched a Texas game until I joined LHN.
Really?
You know, I just never.
You were focused on what you were doing.
I never watched sports. Like growing up, I never watched sports. I never watched sports.
Wow.
Like you could ask my friends now, like basketball, I never watched it.
Oh wow.
And it's weird now because I will watch I'll watch Moto America because I met Kyle Wyman, who's also a racer. And then I will watch MotoGP because I try to get better at riding my bike.
That's your film.
But watching a football game, I'll watch a little bit now because I played fantasy football when it was done and whatnot. But I was never a person that just sat there and just watched the entire game.
Right.
And I never watched the Texas game. I was always busy. I was in Nashville. They weren't showing the games.
Right.
And then I remember I was intern coaching with the Tennessee Titans. I did an intern program, and I got a call from LHN, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come in and try out for LHN? You know, I think Vince Young and Corey Redden are not returning." And I was like, "All right, whatever.
Why not?
Why not?" So we did it, and they were like, "All right, cool, you're hired." I'm like, "Oh, was that easy?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, John Bianco, shout out to him. He recommended you, and he said that, you know, you're really good at speaking, and you're really good at you know, interviews and things of that nature. And you think you'll be a great fit for it because you just know how to, the personality,
you know how to talk.
You know how to talk. You know how to engage people. You know what you're talking about and everything else, and you know how to be pretty much politically correct." Like again, it's just a window of opportunity just fell on my lap at the time, and it was like, okay, I'm retired. I'm done playing. Do I want to continue to try to pursue coaching? Nah, too many hours.
Right.
I spent enough hours when I played, and so maybe down the road. But right now, my kids are so young, and I need to be there.
Yeah, I gotta be there for them.
And so it just fell there, and then, you know, first season kicked off, and now it's just having a great time with the guys like Lil Galindo, Alex Loeb, Andy Wall, Veronica, who does our makeup. There's just a lot of great people. Fozzie Whitaker, even when Ricky and Jordan Shipley was on the show, Dan Neal, just a lot of great guys, and it's fun. I mean, you get to sit there,
culture,
hang out, get the free food, prior, post, and after, and stuff that nature, and then you get to watch the games.
Right.
And so it brought me closer to the program, and just being able to meet the current players, speak to them, talk to them if need be, and again, it's just you kind of you know, you're trying to just go along with life. And I think that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, is just going along with life and just opportunities that present themselves. Hey, listen, don't just say no. Try it out. See if you like it.
Right.
That's pretty much what I've been doing. And it's been working out in my favor.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, so.
But LHN Great Culture seems amazing. That was how we met at spring game this year when I was interning.
I needed my daughter to get some inspiration. Whenever I, you know, talk to her, so you know, I need you to talk to another soccer player. Like, talk to somebody where you say you want to go, and it literally turned a lot of things around, especially for her. So I really do appreciate it. So.
Anytime. Well, thank you so much for being on Mondays with Madison. It was great having you. Hope you all enjoyed. So please like this video, comment down below who you want to see next, and subscribe for more interviews. So with that being said, see you guys next time. Bye.